Okay, good evening, Instagram. How are we? So I'm doing the lives, I think probably Wednesday going forward now because on Thursday I've gone back to work. We've got classes, so I want to try to do it at 7 as opposed to really, really late. So today I want to talk about our upper body strength as a horse rider. So I've done a lot around the hips and the core for the last while, and this idea came to me from talking to a girl who on TikTok who has problems with her horse pulling her forward, which knocks her off balance. Now, obviously, if a horse is going to put their head up or down and charge, there's not a lot we can do no matter how much we train because at the end of the day, they're going to be stronger than us, and if they want to go, they will go. But what can come in handy, and this can work for when you're doing your dressage rather than your bending work, is learning how to engage your back muscles. So if you've got a horse that's due to fight and you're like kind of leaning back to fight, you're going to throw yourself off a little bit, put pressure. Whereas if you can pull your elbows back, squeeze and engaging those back muscles, so your lats, it'll be a lot easier to win these arguments, per se. So if you can still stay up tall and balanced and pull back here and engage these muscles, which is actually a lot harder than people think because we don't actually use them too much. We do a lot of front focus stuff. If your horse is pulling, then you can stay in this solid kind of balanced position and pull your elbows back as opposed to lean back and you're still kind of pulling with your arms, if that makes sense. So it is kind of a hard one to explain in a sense because we're not, what people think is when you're doing this is you're pulling your hands back, right? But we want to focus on getting to say our shoulder blades moving. So shoulder blades are together, pulling them back, and your elbows are coming back, so your hands aren't really doing the movement. If you engage your hands too much, you pull with your arms as opposed to using those back muscles. So I'm trying to explain here is, if you're standing here, can you have your hands out in front of you, pull your shoulder blades together and push them back, pull them together and back without bending your arms. So if you're bending your arms, you're not really doing it. So it's, can you engage them muscles behind and back and back. So this is a really, really good exercise I found. Getting used to moving your back muscles. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and back. You can grab a band and hold this and pull them back and forward. You can hold something in front of you, a towel or a broom. But mastering working these muscles can be so, so beneficial. So there is a few different types of exercises you can do for engaging your lats. One of my favourites to do is literally just doing that, but we sit down. So you're sitting down, sorry, let's move this slightly. Legs out in front of you. And you're going to go pull back and forward. You put your core in first. You pull back and forward. We're not bending our elbows and bringing them back. We're literally pulling their shoulder blades together and back. We're not leaning back. So you're not going like this, which is very common as well. We're focusing on pulling those shoulders back, pushing them forward. Pulling them back and pushing them forward. So when you're able to move them a lot easier, when you've got your reins, you can pull back from there, as opposed to pulling and having to go back into it. Now, as I said, there are scenarios where if a horse is tanking its head between its legs, you're going to have to lean back and sit back as hard as possible. But this is a really good starter exercise to get the feel of those muscles, and you can be surprised how hard it's actually to move them because we're not used to doing it. So unless you've practiced it, once you get used to that movement, you can bring it up into, there's lots of little types of rows that you can do. So you can get a band and hook it around your legs. Same thing, now we put a bit of resistance onto it, pulling back, forward, imagine you're holding the reins, and we're squeezing our shoulders back and forward. Then there's also weighted exercises you can do. So there is a bent over row, which is again the same thing, but what we're doing here is we have our dumbbells, or you can do it with a band. You stand on the band, push the hips back, pull and squeeze, pull and squeeze. Very important with this one that we make sure our back's straight, so we're not bent over like this. We're actually pushing our bum back towards the wall behind us. We pull back and squeeze. And the goal here is to almost try and get your shoulder blades to touch. And you're not even, like, you should be really light on the hands. Hands are just holding them, so you're not gripping and reefing. So there's another version of those rows. But again, this is something you can practice while at home. Like, you can even sit there watching telly and back and forward, back and forward. I would recommend, if you are trying to do something like this, to do, you know, up to 20 reps each time. And it just really helps get the movement, get those muscles engaging. It's something that if you start to be able to move them and use them, it just makes it a lot easier, as I said, like, because you're not relying on yourself to come back if you're fighting a horse, so you're able to bring them back. And this is like as well, just comes in for like your dressage, you're bending, if you can pull as opposed to like pulling with your hands, so you can be softer, engaged, engage. It works really well as well. So when you're doing your half halt, that is something I'm still not convinced is a real thing, but anyway, I'm joking. Am I joking? I don't know. So that, yeah, just a little short thing on the upper body today. It's really important to strengthen these muscles here at the back. I can give more exercise, aren't just your back, like we have shoulder exercise, like even bring your hands out, squeezing your shoulder blades together up tall, like here, up high. So we're straight line, coming back, focus on getting those shoulder blades together. Turn your hands up to the ceiling. It's very important to get movement and strength into our back muscles as we do get pulled forward by the horse, and with our lives as we spend a lot of time hunching over our phone or our computer, especially in the last like 2 years where we haven't been out. So these muscles become very dormant, very weak, and being able to pull them back and squeeze makes a huge difference when you're riding. It really does. I know from experience myself, I'm quite good at activating, and I find it very easy. I don't have the issue of having to stop my horse, which some might say is lucky, but I think we always want them to have. But when I do need to hold them back, I'm able to engage that. So we're practicing, and even when you're on horseback, if you're in a walk, you can literally go, can I pull back like this? Can I pull back like this? Then you graduate it into trot, try it in trot. Again, canter, I don't know if the horse will break in canter, but you know, these are things you can do. You can, like, can I feel them responding? Can I feel my muscles? And do it lightly, you're not going to be pulling the head off them, but it is like you practice, you know, at home, practice then in the saddle, and then if that scenario comes where your horse is rushing or taking off, you now have an extra kind of tool in your arsenal to try and help, which like, you know, we need all the help we can get when we're fighting half-ton animals, don't we? But yeah, so that is today's live talking about upper body strength. If you have any questions, drop them below. If you need to send me a DM with any questions, do. I am open for coaching roles anytime as well, so if you are looking for your own individualized, personalized program, do come to me and I can work with you. So DMs are always open, and yeah, and you'll find me on TikTok as well. So hope that helped.